Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Coders Startup. This is episode number 33 now, and we are joined, as always, again today by Carter the Marketer Johnson, who currently has a mouthful of bratwurst.
No, I'm good.
He's good. So
I'm
say
good.
hello to the audience.
Hello. I'm doubling down. I am, as we'll talk about, I'm nurturing a cold. I'm leaving for Ireland this week, so I have a ton of stuff to do. So I'm eating lunch as we record this before I have to jump to another meeting before I run errands. So
Crazy.
Lots of fun stuff going on.
Yeah, so this one hopefully will be a shorter one because obviously we're pressed for time. And so we want to talk a little bit about health, wealth, and well-being, all that good stuff. Because if we're not healthy, if we don't take care of ourselves, our bodies, if we don't keep in good shape, our businesses suffer. And this is a topic that really hits home for me for reasons that I'll get into in a moment. But I'm sort of deathly afraid of getting ill. I haven't vomited, again, knock on wood, since I was like 18 years old. I'm currently 30. How old am I? 32. I'm either turning 32 or I'm turning 33. I can't remember. One of those numbers. So it's been a long time since I've tossed my cookies, and that's it's because I'm paranoid about it. So I'm always and doing things to help prevent, taking preventative measures, if you will. So we'll get into that and what I do. But Carter's the one who's sick now, so I'll let him sort of start off the conversation because he's the one who suggested that we talk about this stuff. So
yes. So, it's crazy because when you're running your own business, it's so important to just be in the game because otherwise nothing happens. You know what I mean? Unless you have these systems set up, really fine-tuned. But even then, there's just a lot of overseeing and management and stuff. So really, if you find yourself super sick for a week or something, that can put you really far behind. I hate getting sick. I can't say that I haven't thrown up since I was 18, like 2 weeks ago because of overeating and over drinking for a friend's birthday.
Yeah.
But I can say, I hate getting sick. And I have my magic formula tea, which I'll share with everyone, that a pilot told me about that seems to cure everything for me. And I swear by it, and I pass it along to people, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'll never do anything else."
That's what you held up? You held up
I put in a protein
shaker bottle?
Shaker, because that's how much I'm trying to consume. Because it's crazy for me too. I feel like and there might be something to this, but I don't ever get sick, knock on wood, until I'm about to leave for vacation. And it's almost like my body's like, okay, you can relax. We're not in game mode. So maybe that's it. I don't know what it is, but I
don't know. Or maybe, are you nervous about, are you a nervous flyer or?
No, not at all. I feel like it's almost just my body. I don't know. But and so sometimes I like that. Sometimes I'm like, well, great. I'll nurse this cold and warm weather. Ireland's not going to be warm, but other times I'm like, man, this sucks. So I'm trying to nurse that cold. But yeah, going back to how it applies in business, it's just so important for us to stay on our game in health, both physically and then as well as our mindset, to really be able to hit the ground running each and every day that we're working on stuff. So where can I start this?
Yeah, I know. So, what I'm thinking, I'm sure everyone who's listening, everyone knows, it's always good to be healthy. It's always good to, blah, 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 blah. You should be working out. You should be this. You should, everyone knows this stuff. So, I don't really want to keep hammering that into people because we've all heard it before. I more want to talk about, like I said, some stuff that's working for me and keeping me in good shape and good health and whatnot, keeping me from getting sick, because I think I've only been sick once with the flu, I think, like a bad cold or something in the past. I can't even remember how many years. I think I've had one cold in probably 5 years.
That's so awesome.
I could be wrong about that, but that's the only one I can literally think of. I remember because I was on the couch watching a certain movie or whatever, and that movie for some reason triggers that feeling of being sick. But that's it. That's all I can remember in recent past. So there you go. I've got some tips and tricks that I can pass along to you guys. So that's what I'll contribute. And yeah, so I can start now if you like, or we can.
You jump into it, and then I'll share some of the things that like this tea and just daily things that I do to kind of stay on top of my my game for health.
Exactly. So, I mean, the first and foremost, the easiest one, the most straightforward one that everyone knows about is exercise. Exercise is not only good for keeping you healthy in general in terms of helping your, build up your immune system and stopping you from even catching colds and stomach bugs and all these things that are contagious anyway. That's your number one preventative measure. Is just exercise. And by exercise, it usually is just a matter of getting your heart rate up. Okay. It's a matter of, you don't need to lift weights. You don't need to whatever. It's just a matter of getting your heart, rate up into that, whatever cardio zone for 25, 30 minutes, whatever, 3 times a week. I mean, again, we've all heard this before. How I do this, I mean, I have a dog, which I take for walks every single day. Most days 2 times, sometimes even 3, because she has that much bloody energy. So for me, brisk walk with a dog is great way to get the heart rate up, but you need to make it a brisk walk. The other great way that I do that I get my heart rate up is biking. I love to bike. Obviously not motorcycle, but bicycling. Right, you got to under your own power, pedaling with your own 2 feet. I just did it today. I just got back from. I had to get some blood taken for. I'm going on a trip to St. Lucia for my honeymoon coming up soon, and I want to make sure all my vaccinations are up to date because I can't remember what vaccines I've gotten, and I've seemed to have lost my medical records. Whoops. So I was like, wow, whatever. We'll just do some blood work, and that'll confirm whether or not I have all the vaccines that I need. Anyway, I biked all the way there. I didn't have to. I could have taken a cab. I could have asked, I could have driven Christina to work and taken the car. I could have done all these, but I said, you know what? Even though it's, thunderstorming out, it was only going to be a little bit of rain. I said, screw it. I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to ride. Got rained on a little bit, but that's great exercise. That was about 20 kilometers of bike riding over the course of just over an hour that I had my heart rate up. So there you go. I'm almost ready for the whole week now because I've done my exercise. So that's a great way, preventative measure to stop yourself from getting sick. That's number 1. Number 2 for me, and this is going to be an off the wall tip for probably a lot of the people.
Can I interject real quick? Because I think
go for
you're doing something great. Anytime that you can basically integrate something else that you're already doing and apply it, like, so for instance, you already had to go to the doctor. Right. Why not use that as an opportunity to exercise? Like, that's fantastic. I try to do that. The grocery store is about a mile away from my house. I try to always just walk there, take the dog on the walk that way. The other thing that I found is super great, and I don't know why, but doing some heavy cleaning, like if you're like going crazy, vacuuming, dusting, everything else, like, yeah, it gets your heart rate up. Like I've worn heart rate monitors, and you can kind of see that spike. And this isn't, I know there's some people out there who do CrossFit or go to the gym every day, and these guys, what are they saying? But I'm not saying, don't go to the gym and instead clean your house. I'm just saying, like, look at it as an opportunity. For me, it's not very motivating to, well, first off, I'm not a huge exerciser in general, but it's not that motivating to clean my house or exercise. But when I combo them, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I'm excited about it. So
that's true. That's a good mindset, because that's the way I look at it too. I look for reasons to go for bike rides. Mm-hmm. I say, okay, going for a bike ride will be great for the health anyway. It's good exercise, but what else can I do? How can I make this productive? So I listen to podcasts while I'm biking. Love doing that. So I'm listening and learning while I'm biking, getting the exercise, and I'm getting the errands done that I need to get done throughout the day. Like today, I went to the pet store, got a new collar for the dog. That was item number 1. Item number 2, I stopped and had lunch, had a beautiful salad at, I know it sounds horrible, but I have all these food allergies. So salads are usually the best bet for me for lunch. Had a salad at Milestones. I don't know if do you guys have Milestones in the States, or is that a Canadian thing?
I don't know. That sounds familiar, but I feel like Milestone's a pretty broad word. You know what I mean?
It's just it's a restaurant. Who cares? Stop number 3 was to get the blood work done, and stop number 4, I got a few groceries that I needed. So I got 4 things done while exercising today. It was super, super productive. I feel great about it, and obviously exercise. So
totally
beautiful stuff. The other off the wall one that I wanted to throw at you guys that you probably haven't even thought of, haven't even heard of, will think that it's strange, et cetera, et cetera. I don't remember if I've said this before on the podcast. But going to see a naturopathic doctor changed my life. And this 100% fits the bill for health and well-being, because I used to be a fairly sick kid when I was in university. I was kind of the kid who would always catch colds and flus, and I would always get sick. Thankfully, I never barfed anywhere. Don't know how I got through university without doing that. But anyway, I always had something, ear infections, always sick. And I couldn't figure out why it was. Anyway, fast forward like a decade, and I met my soon-to-be wife. She said that I should go to the naturopath because I'd gone to my family doctor, I've gone to clinics, I've gone and these doctors, it's just in out. That you get in, you talk about yourself for 2 seconds to say what's wrong, they throw some prescription at you, you walk out the door. That is that is the way that we have built in our minds that's how doctors work. That's not how naturopathic doctors work. And I was not a believer in naturopathic medicine because I thought it was just like, oh, here, eat some plants and you'll get better, do a medicine dance or something like that. No. So you go into this office and you sit down with this doctor for an hour and a half. At least that's how we did it here. You sit down for an hour and a half, and I don't know if I've said this in the podcast, but it's like essentially a big session where you just complain about everything that's wrong in your life with respect to your body. And so, talk about your mental well-being, although maybe that works too, but more so just stuff that's wrong with your body. And I just complained for an hour and a half. And at the end of it, she said, "Trevor, it sounds like you have some food allergies." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I'm like, you are all these symptoms that you're describing are probably caused by food allergies." And at no point in my life did I ever think I was allergic to food because I didn't have a strong reaction to food. I wasn't, it wasn't like my throat suddenly closed and I was gasping for breath and stuff. These were just mild symptoms that eventually over time kept building and building and building to the point where, eventually sent me to the doctor. So sure enough, I did the blood testing. I'm allergic to, ready for it? I'm allergic to eggs, dairy, and gluten, which sucks. But anyway, that's just my...
It's like 90% of consumable goods, isn't it?
That's right. That's what I said. That's why I eat a lot of salads, which is great for my health because salads help for, general well-being anyway. But anyway, the whole point is... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to touch on another point that, it came about. I realized this. I was watching golf like 5 or 6 years ago, and they were talking about like and this was when Tiger Woods was like, just runaway champion of everything. And they were talking about how regimented his diet was and what he ate. And more than anything, he did that because he knew on, match days, he didn't want to put something in his body that, his stomach is going to hurt, or it's going to give him a headache, or it's going to, create that brain fog. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, wow, that's such a good point. So often we don't even, or I used to be and a lot of people in my family are just, whatever, we'll eat whatever for the morning, whatever's on the menu. And now I've really switched that to know exactly what my intake is and how I respond to it. Just because if you think about how many times like you've eaten something and it creates upset stomach or something, like how many hours that drains on your productivity, it's huge. It's huge. So, I mean, hats off to you for getting all those tests done and really, really figuring out what you're allergic to.
Yeah, no, and totally. I mean, when I look back at it, it cost, I think it was $200 for the test. But honestly, the best $200 I've ever spent in my whole life. Because once I got rid of eggs, dairy, and gluten from my diet, which sucked, but I got rid of it. God, I feel so much better. Like all of symptoms, like I don't know if I've said this before. I never used to be able to run. I could run for about 10 seconds, and then my knee would just erupt into pain. I had such horrible joint pain. And again, you don't correspond joint pain with food allergies, right? But that's what it was. I had such inflammation across all my body that it was causing all these rampant issues all over the place. And it was just because of the foods I was putting in my body. So now I'm so careful with what I put into my body. And even more so now, I've gotten even crazier, and I'm starting to really get into like full vegan diets. And I'm even trying to get rid of sugar altogether, any added sugar. So anyway, if you want to watch a documentary, I think it was called Fed Up. It's on Netflix. Great documentary about how bad sugar is for you. And anyway, so blah, 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 blah. That's just, naturopathic medicine is something I highly, highly believe in. It's gotten me off of so many other medications that I used to take, like over-the-counter medications that, have a whole bunch of side effects that are just horrible for you. I almost had to take medications for heartburn and stuff like that would screw with my bone density and start to make my bones more brittle and all this like horrible side effects that I shouldn't have to be taking in my 30s. And now I can just completely replace that by changing my diet and taking these supplements, which have no side effects. It's all natural. There's no chemicals. There's no nothing. It's all cool. Absolutely love it. Completely changed my life. If you're not a believer, maybe you should be. Just Google naturopathic medicine and all the amazing stories that people have. And yeah. Anyway, one takeaway: food journals. Keep a food journal. Don't track the calories. That's not what I mean. I mean, just track what you're eating, when you ate it, and if you have had any adverse effects. This doesn't, you most likely you're probably not allergic to foods, some foods or whatnot, but some foods that you are eating most likely trigger bad health events that can affect your productivity. Like for me, a bad one was heartburn. Traced it back to any sort of tomato-based sauce. If I have tomato-based sauce, it just causes heartburn. I just know that now, so I have to limit the amount of tomato-based sauce I ingest because I know it's highly acidic. It's going to give me heartburn, and it's going to keep me up in the middle of the night, and I'm not going to be able to sleep, and that's going to affect me in the next rest of the day, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, there's my spiel about that stuff. I'll come back and talk about some foods that you can eat that will boost your immune system overall, so you can help get even more preventative measures. Probably just like Carter's going to talk about, which I will finally now hand over to him because he's been dying to talk. So
I'm super excited. Well, I think a good transition for this, I can come from the perspective of I have never been like a food health nut. Like I have almost on the side and can relate to you people out there who are like almost like listening to this and probably mocking it. Trust me, that's me. That's 100% me. I grew up in the South where we fry everything. Our sweet tea comes with like 8 cups of sugar per gallon. I'm not joking. And then I lived in the Midwest where it's still not super healthy eating. So I would always hear people talk about this and talk about just cleaning up their eating styles. And I was just, brush it off. Like, that's a load of garbage. That's nothing. And I moved out to Boulder, Colorado, which is super, super health conscious. I mean, it's, one of the biggest health living cities. Mecca. Yeah, in America. And I really started just not really, I was just open to the idea. I wasn't accepting. I wasn't saying like, hey, this is going to change my life or anything. I was just open. I just listened to people talk about it. And I started just experimenting gradually, like, going away from the sodas, the sugar, sweet tea, things like that. Just trying to keep track of a food journal, like figuring out how I felt when I'd eat something. And for me, it came back to like so much of what I do. It's just how productive was I during the day? And when I could really start seeing like, hey, if I eat these heavy meals with fried or breaded bases, I have that mind fog. Like I feel I'm there, but I'm just not like sharp. And then I started realizing like, well, if I overeat, because food is so good and you just want to cram it all in your mouth. If I overeat, I'm drowsy the entire day. And you start looking at that and I don't really care what the studies say. I know what effect it has on my own body. So I'm definitely a lot more health conscious. Another thing I did, I went and I got a full physical and I had blood work done. And it's so, like, I thought doctors just like when they do blood work, they test for everything. No, they don't. So when you go to your doctor, at least in the States, I don't know how it is in Canada, Trevor, ask your doctor what all studies that you can actually get done. I had to consistently, keep requesting, and I looked up, and I don't have the list, but all the things that I wanted tested, and it came back like my testosterone was super low. I'm like, mid-20s, why in the world is my testosterone low? And so I started researching natural ways to help with that. Brazilian nuts, avocados, things like that. And now I eat avocado every morning for breakfast.
Love avocado.
Oh gosh, fantastic. And I can honestly say for me, doing that and just understanding, hey, my testosterone is low, let's incorporate these things just to help with it. I feel a lot more energized. I feel a lot more focused. It's been great, but I never would have known that had I not gone and actively gotten those studies, because my doctors are always just like, yeah, everything looks fine. You're not dying, basically. Kind of like what you were talking about, Trevor. It's the
that's
fact that
exactly
in and out. Yeah. The other side, goes along with this, but I was just going to say, I definitely would encourage people to talk to a nutrition. I've talked to a few of them. I've never really gotten a hard, like food plan. And for me, I'm not disciplined in nutrition and health enough to like Trevor, you do a fantastic job sticking to stuff. For me, if you told me something that I couldn't eat, but I really, really wanted to, I'm like, nah, I'll cut out sugary stuff, but no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, go to a dietitian and just listen to them, just learn a little bit more. It's really, really eye-opening, all the stuff that comes from that.
And there's a lot even you can learn for free if you go to just Netflix and certain documentaries like the what the heck was it called? Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I don't know if you've seen that one.
And I've told a lot of my friends about those, and I consistently hear like, yeah, but they have an agenda. My response to that is, who doesn't? You know what I mean? You go into the grocery store, you don't think there's an agenda. Yeah. You don't think there's profit positioning like behind the foods that you buy. When you're watching television and you see like Healthy Choice TV trays or whatever, you don't think like they have an agenda. Yeah. Everyone has an agenda. So just know both sides of the argument, and hopefully you can shape your own opinion.
Yeah. And I mean, you apply common sense to it as well, right? You apply, is this food that I'm eating, is it good for me or bad for me? But I mean, it doesn't even come down to that being that simple, because some people just literally don't know that the food that they're eating is bad for them.
Yeah.
They literally do not know. Like anything low fat, anyway, I'm going to get into a big rant, but anything low fat just means that they've added sugar into it to make it taste better because they remove the fat. Fat isn't your enemy. Just because a food is high in fat, sometimes that could be a good thing. But just because it's high in fat does not mean it's bad. Fat is just energy. Energy is good. If you take away all the fat, food tastes horrible. Put all the sugar in to make it taste better. So really, if you're going on a diet of low fat food because you think that that's better for you, it's so much worse for you. So much worse for you in the way your body reacts to it. It's so much better to have the high fat version of that food as opposed to the low fat version, just the way your body reacts to it over time, and the diabetes that you're gonna, it's just, if you think about the trends of our population is getting fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter as we've introduced low fat foods and alternatives and this and that, and the more we get into processed food, the worse our waistlines are getting. And Brazil just introduced a new, I don't know if it was just, but their version of the FDA, like the FDA in America does not have the people's health at heart. They're looking for profit. FDA is not your friend. They're your enemy. But anyway, Brazil's version of the FDA is much better, and they decided to publish a different report for how to, your guide for your eating habits. So what you should be eating and when, how many servings, that kind of thing. So here in Canada, it's like, you should have X number of servings of grains, X number of servings of dairy, X number of servings of meats, and blah, blah, blah. And even that's horrible for you. If you follow that over time, you're going to get cancer, you're going to die. Anyway, Brazil, let me get back to them. They have introduced their, food pyramid based on how processed the food is. It's as simple as that. And there's a level of how processed the food is. At the very top, there's something that you probably love and have every day and think is relatively healthy for you. At the very top is something like breakfast cereal. Breakfast cereal, if you eat breakfast cereal pretty much in any form, that is categorized in Brazil as ultra processed. Some of the worst stuff that you can put into your body is breakfast cereal. Wow. And it's like, for me, I had no idea. I had no clue. And it's just because of the way they put it together, the way they process it, and how much added sugar and little, it's just so horrible for you. And if you mix it with, skim milk or 2% or any kind of milk and dairy product, it's just horrible for you. So it's just eye-opening things like that for me. Again, I can get on and on and on about ranting about this stuff, but it's education. So watch documentaries like Fed Up, watch documentaries like Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and just realize that, although, they might be trying to sell blenders or they might be trying to sell this or that, ultimately, this is, listen to the stories of the people and how much their lives have improved from this, because you can't lie when you've lost, 100 or 200 pounds and sort of kept it off, right? You can't lie about that. And the fact that they're doing all these scientific tests with their blood, and you see that their bad cholesterol is going down, their good cholesterol is going up, all the other blood work things are evening out and blah, blah, blah. So, you can't lie about that stuff. So anyway, let's get on to your tea. I want to talk about your tea.
Yeah, we'll do that real quick. So
yeah.
I've almost downed it completely. I was really sick in Mexico one year. I was coming back from a wedding. I sat next to a pilot, and I mean, I'm talking like, it was so bad that I went to a pharmacy in Mexico hoping I could find something, and I don't even know what they gave me, but whatever. And anyways, like real bad ear pain, throat pain, sinuses, everything. And I was sitting next to this pilot, and he told me this recipe, and all it is, you boil water like you're making tea or whatever. You dump a lot of ginger powder in there, and then it's local honey. So usually I find it from, local farmer's market or whatever. And then also lemon, and that's all it is. And it's so simple. And he, explained all the science with all of it working together and stuff, but so simple. And I swear every time I drink it, it clears up what's going on. I've recommended it to other people, and now they just are huge fans of it. So very simple, but it works for me. And I think that's what it's all about. Whatever you can find that works for you.
Ginger, honey, lemon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the proportions for that? Like how much? So 1 cup of water and how much of everything?
I just dump as much in as I can take, or whatever to taste. I think the big part is the ginger, like the ginger powder, and that's like where you're getting a lot of the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I overload it with that, and it's just kind of mix and match to your taste. But the good stuff is the ginger.
Now, do you put lemon juice in? Do you squeeze it into the juice? Do you put the whole lemon in there? What do you do?
Again, like just to taste. Sometimes I actually buy like the lemon juice, natural lemon juices.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's the juice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I make it like all the time for people, and I'll use real lemons or whatever. So.
Yeah. I would probably recommend real lemons over the lemon juice, just because there's probably some processing that goes into that.
There probably is.
But whatever works for you, right? Whatever works for you. So that's awesome. That's good, because that hits one of the elements on my list for things that are good for you that you can put in your body. Definitely ginger is an immune boosting herb that you can put in your body. Do you say herb or herb? Out of curiosity.
Herb. But I'm from the South, so I mispronounce a lot of things.
I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter at all. Anyway, so here's my, so there you go. You can totally make that tea for you. I mean, even drinking that tea, on a frequent basis, it would be good for you. Cause like I said, it's good. Honey is a good sugar alternative. I've
heard it still has,
still not great, but if you need some sweetness, honey is okay. Also, stevia is quite good. You can find stevia in like the healthy part of your food aisle. Stevia comes in both liquid and powder forms. It comes right from a plant. It's just a plant there's no processing that goes on. It's just a plant that, you scrape off certain parts of it, and that's the nice, sort of sweet part of it. Certain ones have certain aftertaste though. It's not sugar, right? Sugar tastes like sugar. Sugar's great. Sugar is more addictive than cocaine. True story.
That's crazy.
So we love sugar, and it's hard to find alternatives. But the more you cut sugar out, the more you stop craving it. I had an incredible situation where I had those Lindt chocolates, the chocolate balls with like the filling in the middle. Again, maybe that's a Canadian thing. Just divine, beautiful chocolate. So delicious. I had 2 of those, 2 balls of chocolate, just infused with sugar goodness. And seriously, for the next 3 days, I was craving sugar after dinner, because I always used to have sugar after dinner, and I've since cut it out and been fine. I'll have an apple if I feel like I needed sugar. But no, after I had 2 of those chocolate balls, I was like craving and like fighting my girlfriend to get sugar, and she was like, no, stop it. So anyway. Sugar. Once you bite the bullet and cut it out for a while, it gets easier and easier to not have it. So, anyway, here's the foods that you can also consume to help boost your immune system and keep you going and keep you healthy, and hopefully have a good track record for not catching colds and flus and stuff like that. At the top of the list is yogurt. So yogurt is great for people who can consume dairy. I can't consume dairy, but so I can't have yogurt. But yogurt is great because it has all the probiotic cultures and whatnot. You can actually go and get probiotic pills or whatever, if you like, from natural food stores or whatever you like. You can actually just buy them. You have to keep them in your fridge, but you can take one of those supplements every day, and that's sort of the equivalent of having yogurt. So great for you. It's full of good bacteria that will help your stomach and all obviously your immune system. Oats and barley. Just having oats for breakfast, steel cut oats. What I have is I do a concoction of oats with almond milk and a whole bunch of stuff, hemp hearts, chia seeds. Sounds real, hippie-ish and new age, but it's delicious. It keeps me fuller longer than any other breakfast I've ever had. I can have it at like 8 a.m. and still be full at 12 and be waiting until 1 before I have lunch. So it's incredible. Anyway, that's part of the Oh, She Glows cookbook. If you're interested in reading more about some of the cool things that you can have and try out, Oh, She Glows.
She Glows.
Yeah,
that sounds like very heavily marketed towards women. I'm not making any assumptions, but
it's true.
Okay.
It's true. It's not for women. No, it's not for women. I think it's like a vegan cookbook or something like that.
Gotcha.
But you're right. It does sound like it's marketed towards women, but I don't think I don't know. Christina gets it and she cooks me all the stuff off of it. So she's the cook. She's the one who keeps me honest with this stuff.
Nice.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's for boys or girls. It's delicious. Garlic, hugely good for your immune system. Garlic, put it in droves into your cooking whenever. Although, don't cook it for too long because I think it loses some of its goodness. The rawer you can eat it, the better. Obviously, raw garlic is quite potent. But anyway, shellfish apparently also good for your immune system. I don't eat shellfish, but maybe I should. I don't know. This one's obvious. This one I read and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense because you always have it when you have like a cold or something. It's chicken soup. Yeah, just like I guess vegetable broth type of thing with I don't think the chicken really helps. So I think it's more the broths and whatnot. But yeah, chicken soup is apparently good for you.
Nice.
Teas, black teas, green teas, they all have great boosting immunity powers in them. Tea is certainly something that you can drink, especially decaffeinated teas. The more caffeine you have in your drinks, the more dehydrated it makes you. So I would always lean towards decaffeinated teas. Totally great for your immune system. This one surprised me. I wasn't aware of this one. Beef apparently is good for your immune system. So although I'm a bit, that's more of a controversial one because I don't know. There's certainly a lot of stuff around, certain studies around cancers that are caused by the consumption of animal products. So, this is a vegan talk in me, but I try to limit my animal product intake. So beef, chicken, fish, all that stuff, and any sort of, milk. Even though I'm allergic to it, I still wouldn't have it because that's essentially, they call it animal flesh, which is a gross way to think about milk.
Trevor, you want to know something scary?
Yeah, go for it.
I used to drink 2 gallons of milk a week.
That's, it's marketed to us. It's marketed to us as this is something that will make us grow up strong and healthy. It'll help your bones and all that stuff. And
I love milk. Now I just put it in my coffee. That's all. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. That's again, it's hard to cut all this stuff out. I feel like a dictator saying, get rid of it. This is totally something that took me years to eventually get rid of all this stuff. This doesn't happen overnight. Trying to get rid of all this stuff and add new stuff in overnight, you're going to fail. Okay. This is a gradual process. I immediately was able to cut out eggs when I first started. And then it took me forever to get rid of dairy. It took me even longer to get rid of gluten. I still cheat with gluten sometimes because I'm not that bad with it. But I don't drink beer anymore. That took years for me to get to a point where I'm not going to drink beer anymore. I've completely switched to wine, and certain scotches are completely gluten-free, so I can have scotch and whatnot. Anyway, so beef, I would take it or leave it there. If you can substitute something else for beef, then by all means. Sweet potatoes. I hate sweet potatoes, but they're so good for you. They're a great alternative to regular potatoes because regular like white potatoes are just chock full of sugar and just bad stuff in general. So if you can substitute sweet potatoes with regular potatoes, put in sweet potatoes, so much better. Sweet potato fries, that kind of thing, much better and good for your health. And finally, we finish off with mushrooms. So mushrooms, again, the rawer you can eat them, the better. So just putting some raw mushrooms in like a salad or something. Very easy way to help boost your immunity. So, and really any greens at all, anything that's green, that's a vegetable, you're always going to win with it. You're always going to win with a green vegetable, especially leafy green vegetables are always going to be good for you. So, the raw you can have those, the better. So anyway, this is how I keep healthy. I try to put as many of these things into my diet as possible, or the substitutes like I talked about, probiotics for yogurt, and just oats instead of barley, and so on and so forth. So there you go. There's my list. And is there anything? I think we still need to do the segment with this has gone on. Longer than we meant to.
We definitely got on a
Carter's Book of the Week segment.
Yeah, so Book of the Week. Yeah, and most people have heard of this, but we're going to go ahead and do a shout out for it if you haven't. But the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss has his whole series on, now he has the 4-Hour Chef, the 4-Hour Body. He's got a new television show on Amazon or something. But the 4-Hour Work Week, and wow, it's such a great read. You've heard us mention it before. But definitely pick it up just so you can kind of learn a little bit about that mentality if you haven't read it. If you have read it and haven't read the other ones, I'm a big fan of the 4-Hour Chef. It was a great way for me to learn just some quick, easy ways to cook healthy stuff. I'm still not a great cook. I don't claim to be. I struggle with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, if you believe that. But yeah, check out the 4-Hour Work Week and the other 4-hour
series,
I guess.
Yeah. And especially, Tim Ferriss is living proof. He is a fit gentleman. He is walking the talk, if you will. So he certainly knows a thing or two about huge health nut. And a lot of people argue he takes it to the extreme because of some that's a whole nother story. We'll get into all those other experiments and stuff he does. But then the app of the week. So, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to lean on my most used app on a day-to-day basis. And I've mentioned it before, but let's just mention it again. NVAlt. Have we showcased that for app of the week? What's it called?
NV and then ALT. NVAlt.
Like the letter N? Or in?
Yep. N as in Nancy.
What?
And then
N.
What's that?
There you go. This is I'm
breaking up a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway, so NVAlt.
NVAlt. It's like a text editor, and this is what I spend my entire day in, pretty much. It's like a text editor. You keep it on your computer, but think about this: how often are you looking to write something out or whatever? And I know we're talking to a lot of programmers, so you guys probably have something fancy that you do stuff in. But, a lot of people just open up a Microsoft Word or something like that, and you have to load it. And then if you're looking for the file later, you got to search it or remember what it's for on your, what you saved it as on your computer. NVAlt, literally, I have downloaded my mind into this thing. Anytime I have a note, anything, I just go over to NVAlt, I create a new note, and I can search for that. And I kind of make my own tags. If I think, when I'm searching later on, I'll think about it this way. I'll input a line of that. Super fast, super easy to jot stuff down. You don't have to open all these sheets in Microsoft Word. You don't have to have all these separate text docs saved. Anytime I want to use what I've written, I just copy it over, be it to, WordPress or whatever that I'm working in. It's fantastic. So that's my app of the week. It saves me a ton of time. Love it.
I'm just checking it now. I'm looking at NVAlt. It's like the what you call it? URL is not a friendly URL. It's like I can't even pronounce it. Anyway, I just typed in NVAlt, N the letter, V the letter, Alt ALT into Google, and I just clicked on the first result. That took me to looks like it says BrettTerpstra.com/project/NVAlt. Is that the one that you get when you search for this?
Yeah. So this, I guess, is the guy who created it.
It looks like it.
You know who actually? Yep, this is NVAlt.
Okay,
yep,
cool.
That's it.
Now, the other thing I noticed is that once again, Carter, you have chosen a Mac only application.
Is it really Mac only?
It is Mac only, and I do not see any
PPC Tiger Sport.
What was that?
Since we don't have PPC machine, it's difficult to provide compatibility. So they do have something. but they don't. I doubt it's quite as good. So.
Huh. I mean, this is, yeah, I don't really, I mean, for me, I use Evernote. I use the Evernote app, and that you can create notes in and tag and all that stuff and whatnot. So, I mean, that's what I use for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the comparative one, would you say?
I forget the differences. I've looked into them both. You know who actually turned me on to this is Dion from the foundation. Turned me on to this, and it's fantastic. I love it. So
there you go. Yeah, fair enough.
There you go.
If you got a Mac, you can go for it. If not, I would just say Evernote for me for PC
there you guys
go. And gals. So there you go. All right, there you go. We managed to fit in way more than we meant to. This is a shorter episode, but apparently Carter chose a topic that I like to rant about. So there you go. Health, wellness, nutrition, all that stuff I know a crap load about, and I'm apparently quite enthusiastic about it. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever you want to, you have something that you want to know about with respect to, food in general, and that you're, interested in asking me, then go for it. You can just drop us a line at the blog, coderstartup.com / what is this, 33, I said, I think. Yeah, so coderstartup.com / 33. Leave your message there for us, and we'll get back to you ASAP. Cool?
Awesome.
Cool.
Great time.
So, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, next week. Actually, Carter's going to be in Ireland next week, but I think we'll still be releasing an episode. Hopefully, he'll be back. Oh, you'll be back the next Thursday, Carter, for the next recording?
I should be. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, we've got some episodes in the backlog still that we can release, so there shouldn't be any interruption to the schedule. So, until, I guess, next week, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves and happy learning about food and nutrition, and yourself healthy and wealthy. And bye for now. Peace out.